Oh, I got to lean in.
What's going on, everybody? It's me again. It is time to lean in, bitch. Welcome to the Lean, where we're here to discuss the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip 2, titled The Ex-Wives Club, Episode 4. I'm here with Chad, Danny, and Sammy. And we're
Hey
talking about this
y'all,
crazy ass episode. What's going on, Chad?
what's going on? I'm doing well. How you guys doing today?
Amazing.
Is this Sammy? What's up?
Right. I'm
Sammy.
good. I just want to point out Jamie's not here, so nobody got kicked off this time.
Well, I didn't get kicked off yesterday either.
Oh.
Maybe the scene improved.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I still think it's the signal, but Chad do be giving low budget sometimes. So we'll see.
Please.
Hopefully nobody gets kicked out, nobody lights goes out, nobody.
This internet is clear.
You said what, Chad?
I said this internet is clear.
Okay, well, let's see how clear it is for now. Okay, so yeah, we're here to talk about the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, episode 4. Last week we did episodes 1 through 3, so it was a little longer. This one should be a little shorter, maybe, but it was a lot that happened in this episode. And like, I'm just gonna say, this season, this show is just constantly giving. Like, watching it is very entertaining. So sad it's only 7 episodes because we're already halfway through. And so it'll be 3, maybe. I read 7 and maybe 8, but I read 7. Like, if you look online, it says 7 episodes. So we'll see. But let's just get into it. Of course, if you're watching right now, whether you're watching live or watching the replay, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you'll know when we post all types of videos, whether it be this. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but we actually are doing College Hill Celebrity Edition, myself and Asia. We're doing that on Tuesdays, but it's not a live show. So just subscribe and you'll know certain videos are posted. And yeah. So the first 2 episodes were very chaotic. There were a lot of different arguments. It seemed to be focused around Brandi and Taylor having their back and forth. Brandi had a little spat with Eva at the end of the episode. Dorinda was kind of okay, but then she started to start.
Yes, she did.
Each episode went on, and in this episode, season episode 4, she's in full effect. We had what did we have? Vicki was kind of like boring. Her and Tamra are like glued to each other, which is expected. But Vicki has been kind of like boring, so they've been trying to get her to warm up more. So we've had like most of the altercations in the house have been because of Brandi. Now in this episode, Brandi really even involved at all. Not even one thing. So at this point, she ain't the problem. Everybody else,
right?
And so in this episode 4, basically it's another day. I think it's day 4. Each episode is a day, and you kind of see Dorinda reflecting, just like having her little Zen moment. And they're like literally showing you all these moments that have happened in just 3 episodes, which I thought was crazy. And the first thing we see is Brandi apologizes via text to Eva. About about making the mangina come in, and so we find out that Dorinda is actually going to let Taylor plan an event. Thus far, Dorinda has planned everything, but in this moment, she's going to let Taylor plan like a tea party. She's going to do it based off of her season 1 from Beverly Hills, and then you get a scene with Eva and Brandi as they chat about the whole text message. So, do y'all feel like Brandi was able to convey what the hell she meant by mangina to Eva?
In her own Brandi way, I guess it made sense to her. It didn't make sense to me what she was trying to say, but that's Brandi.
Did anybody feel like they understood what Brandi was trying to say?
I saw it. When I saw it, I was like, what's going on here? I just thought it was weird, but again, like Danny said, it's like, that's Brandi. It's like, you really can't.
It's Brandi.
Yeah, it's really difficult with that one. Like,
and I feel like that's what Eva kind of, Eva doesn't know her that well. She just kind of like grown to like her a little bit. And I think she made a comment. She says, you really didn't help much. You may be more confused, but that's okay. Like, basically, just don't let it happen again. And I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice Brandi didn't give her the Vicki when she said, I can't promise it ain't gonna happen again. So she was very apologetic. So I guess Brandi knows who to play with in these days. Because back then, I feel like anybody would have got it from Brandi. But yeah.
But I also feel like it was probably easier for Brandi to be able to control not making a comment about a husband versus not being able to control saying "shut the fuck up."
Right. I agree.
I mean,
and I don't think she was drinking when she was sending the text either, so that probably helped.
She said that thing earlier. She rolled over and said, "I gotta fix this."
I told y'all in the group chat how I feel. I feel like they be walking on eggshells around the black women.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I personally feel that they.
I agree with that.
Mm.
Yeah, I kind of hate it in a sense because I feel like it makes the interactions a little less authentic and more surface level in some cases, and we don't get the full effect of the chaos these women's, normally do have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Eva said she wasn't the one. I mean, in the episode,
Vicki didn't care.
Yeah, Vicki really didn't care. I don't think they walk on eggshells. I think they walk on, a few legs. But I think if they wanted to, if it go there, they will. Because later on, this is Eva has been called out twice now for, I guess, quote unquote, getting involved. It comes up later. First it was Vicki, and then it's gonna be Tamra, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. So the first big thing that happens there is Dorinda's having her aerobics, and she does it on her show. She apparently does it and did it at Bravo Gun or something like that, some different things. And basically, she's gonna do it in 80s attire. So essentially, everybody's getting on their whole like 80s. Everybody looking like Richard Simmons' child and get their whole looks. And so, in doing so, all of them are getting ready to have a little breakfast, and out of nowhere, Dorinda brings up the fact that people have been eating in their room. Now, mind you, she gave this rule list at the beginning of the season when they first got in on the plaque, and it said like no eating in the room, no shoes. And at first, I will say like episode 1 and 2, I was like paying attention to the points. I was like, everyone's breaking these rules, but at that point, I thought it really wasn't a problem because we could see them doing these things even before this episode, right?
Yep.
So anyway, she calls it out, and she basically mentions somebody was eating food in the room, and she fires at Tamra. Tamra apologizes, but Dorinda's like, "Listen, did you not read the plaque? Like, you may get the plaque." And Tamra's just like, "I don't need to get. You should have to get the plaque for me. Like, I'm not a child. I don't need to talk to her like that." And she's like, I got it. And Dorinda's like, don't be condescending. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? So at this point, they are arguing about these rules of eating in the room. And Tamra, I feel like she goes back into her moment of, it's my opinion. And she just freaks out. And it's just like, you know what? Fuck it. And she starts crying and storms off to the upstairs and downstairs. So I want to ask y'all, what the hell y'all think Dorinda got going on? Like, it's her house. It's her. All these are her events. She has rules, but at this point, like, is Dorinda going like too far?
Yes.
I say no.
Okay.
I'm in between. You can't tell them not to eat in the room. And part of the welcome package is a box of cupcakes in the room. She sat there. She sat on the bed with Brandi. First couple of episodes, Brandi got a whole plate of food, and Dorinda sits there, says nothing to Brandi. Mm-hmm. Eva's vaping in the room, smoking in the rooms. So I just think, you can. It's your house. You can have your rules, but you don't have to make the comments of you all obviously don't live this way. I can tell by the way y'all live. You allow all that stuff. Like, those comments were way out of line. She took it too far. Wait,
about them them eating their home.
Yeah, she was like, you all don't live like this, something like that. Like those.
Yeah, she was like, she said that a lot in this show. She said a lot of times, like, you all may do this where you're from or where you live. She said that like twice or 3 times now. She said it to Brandi about about the comment when Jill didn't answer the question, and now she's saying it now. So it's like at this point, what the hell does Dorinda really think of these girls? Like, she must think down on them, And I'm sure it's not a comfortable feeling to have, especially being in someone else's home.
I would have went to the haunted house and asked if they got a room open.
It's a lot. But so
I felt like it was, at the end of the day, she was doing a lot, but it's like, we all feel like when it's our home or when it's our stuff, we can, regulate how we want it. So I didn't feel like she was necessarily doing a lot. I felt like she should have, like Danny said, she should have enforced the rules a little better with how she went about it, because why would you put cupcakes in their rooms and not think that they would eat the cupcakes in their rooms? I thought that was a bit like, girl, that didn't make any sense. But I didn't think she was doing too much the way she was doing. I think that they were a little sensitive, in my opinion.
You thought they were sensitive? You thought Tamra was sensitive?
I thought she was very sensitive, especially when she turned into complete like victim mode, and like she flipped the whole script and turned into I'm gonna cry, and then Dorinda ended up doing the same thing, and it's like,
okay, so first of all, Tamra did cry. Dorinda did not cry. She did not.
Been an asshole.
She tried to cry, and I was at that moment. I was like, "What the hell am I watching?" Because why is Dorinda crying at this point?
And poor Vicki.
Vicki on the side. Vicki damn near want to cry too, because she still got to go home to this damn breakup. So I'm surprised they all just didn't start crying at this moment. It was just a lot.
Right. Yeah.
I think Dorinda, I feel like she's doing too much is because she's not consistent. She even laid in the bed with Vicki and Tamra while they were eating ice cream when the last episode, she was in there twiggling with her feet and stuff, having a full conversation with them, and the fact that they were eating in the room didn't come up then.
Yeah, and so she was Marco is one who took them.
And that's another thing. He's bringing things to them, but also he said he didn't know that the rules were still in effect. So,
somewhere they literally show clips of everybody eating in the room. So,
I get her frustration though, because she put the plaque, so clearly she wants y'all to see these things and abide by them. But you can't tell me to do this and then help me break your rules and then get upset with me the next morning when you're not drunk anymore. Now you realize we've been in here doing whatever the fuck we want to do. Now you're upset and you being mean to me. That's why I feel like she just kind of did too much.
I do think Dorinda was mocking Tamra. I think she did all that to be like, well, shit, you gonna cry? I'm gonna cry too, and show you what you look like. Because it really,
she definitely was mocking her.
It made Tamra stop crying, which made her confused.
Yeah, she knew exactly what she was doing. That was the funniest part.
I love that part.
It was a very chaotic, but as I said, like poor Vicki, they did show that everybody was eating in the room, and at that point, Tamra, I honestly didn't expect Tamra to attend the damn event. I mean, honestly, after the way she felt, whether I agree or not, why would you want to go attend somebody's shit? You know what I'm saying? And Dorinda should be cautious of that, because it's like, girl, you just cussed, and you did tell her like, don't come. So
yeah, so you don't need to come.
Right. I find it very odd that at the Aerobics, she was there. I feel like Dorinda, she was pushing through, but I think she really wanted to be there. But unfortunately, they didn't come. Do you blame them? I don't. I'm sorry. Do you blame either one of them? Because do you feel like Vicki should have went?
Vicki should have.
Yes.
Vicki should have went.
Okay.
Vicki absolutely should have went.
Well, Vicki used that. She used Tamra as her moment to not go. She didn't want to go. So when Tamra said, when she told Tamra not to go, Vicki took advantage of that.
When Vicki didn't go to birthday, Tamra still attended. When Vicki stayed in and didn't go nowhere, Tamra went.
That's true. That's very true. This actually will come back up again too, but so yeah, I mean, other than that, the Aerobics looked fun. First of all the girls were late as hell. Eva and Brandi was taking Tito shots, I believe it was. And I was like, them taking them shots. Phaedra had her little hair and pigtails going out there. It sounded like everybody had a good time. Like, I don't really know what the Aerobics is. I mean, it was just them like in little attire doing this. All right, ladies, but it looked like they had a good time, even though they were still. And I find it hard to believe. I actually, every scene, every event, I tend to look outside in the horizon, and I realize they're still in her backyard every time. Every time. Yeah. And I'm just like, they're really doing a whole lot at this lady's house. That's a lot of this. So kudos to her. Because honestly, if you don't really pay attention, you may think they're somewhere else.
Yeah.
I just read an article today that Tamra said that they still to this day don't know how far out, how many acres her property is. That as much as we saw, we didn't see half of it, she said.
Wow.
Yeah.
I still want to know how she was able to pull it off for them to film why didn't they do a trip? Why did they ever come up with why they didn't do an actual trip? Because
we had a theory. Vicki not vaccinated, and Dorinda want to be on Housewives so bad. I feel like she offered her place and said, "Y'all come here."
Okay,
that's just a thought, but.
Okay, So then they finish the aerobics and they're going to go to a tea party. But before they go to the tea party, there's these two individual bus rides, and in the bus with Brandi, Vicki, and Tamra. And so basically, Brandi is kind of like stirring the pot a little bit. It's just like, Dorinda really wanted y'all there. And basically, she takes Dorinda's side and was just like, listen, she was mad, but, she got over it. And so I think, like Chase said in his comment, in the spirit of New York, they fight and move forward. And I think, Dorinda definitely moves in that way. She may go off, but she moves on pretty fast. I don't think other women are expected to move like that, honestly. Especially if Tamra Riddle was offended, I don't think she's expected to move that way. But in the other bus, you got Phaedra and Eva. And I'm gonna say Phaedra's really messy. She really stirs a lot up between these white ladies. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
Because
Love it.
I'm gonna say it more later too, but her and Eva was like, "Oh yeah, we had fun. Like I had a good time." Dorinda was like, "See, that's what it's about. See, that's why they should have came." And I'm just like, look at them. Look at that. Stirring it up, child. Getting this lady worked up, making her even more mad that they didn't come or whatever. So yeah, but they actually arrived to the tea party, and basically they start out again talking about how much fun they had. And Phaedra's like, Tamra, why didn't you come? And Vicki, why didn't you come? And I'm just like, okay, Phaedra. And so it comes to the point to where everybody is just coming at Vicki and saying that you basically had no reason not to come. You should have came. Vicki says that she made her feel uncomfortable. Dorinda was like, you weren't involved, so it really had nothing to do with you. I did come at Tamra, wrong, right, whatever, but you weren't involved, so you should have came, which is what I think what y'all just say. You felt like Vicki should have came. And so, basically Vicki was like saying like, let's move on. But I'm sorry, Eva was saying, let's move on. And Tamra was like, Eva, like you weren't there. Like you really don't know what's going on. Like basically, again, stay out of it. But Eva didn't really fire back at her at that time. She just was trying to explain. I think she was coming from a different point, not necessarily defending her, but she took it the wrong way. But she does say that Vicki says about conflict. Eva says the only conflict here is you. And I was like, what's gonna happen?
Straight told her, you the only conflict.
She did tell her. I was like, okay, let her know. And basically she's the first person to really tell her, like, you are like bringing down the mood of the trip just with your whole attitude, which I kind of respect it because everybody's been talking about it, but nobody's actually said it to her face. Were you going to say something, Danny?
No, I just think this is a perfect example of what Chad mentioned earlier, that they tiptoe around the black women, because had anybody else made that comment to Vicki, it would have been World War III at that table.
Yeah.
Anybody else, the table would have got flipped and all. Yeah.
Well, they basically try to figure out how the hell Vicki was involved, and Vicki finds a way to say that, well, it was her yogurt. So that's why
that was hilarious.
That she was involved. I'm like, you know what, Vicki? Good save. I ain't buying it, but good save. And from that point, Phaedra made this comment that really took me out, where I guess Jill was quiet, and she was just like, thank God for this food. This is the quietest I've ever seen Jill. Let this baby eat. I was just like, Jill must be talking up a storm.
I love Jill.
I love Jill too.
She's so endearing, and just she gets like
very sweet.
Barbara Streisand and Bette Midler in one person.
Yes, I see that.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Lord. Did you go up for her welcoming last week, Chad? I know you weren't here, but did you?
I loved it. I loved it, considering what she was doing as far as recreating the moment. I loved it. I thought it was really good to introduce yourself again with that, that whole little moment. So I liked it.
And she's a good sport. Today I read an article. I was reading today on this, and she said that they asked her how she felt about Eva and Phaedra not knowing who she was. And she was a good sport about it. She said, they're a younger generation than I am. I didn't take it any kind of way. She says they just are younger than me, and they probably didn't watch the show back then.
Yeah. She just seems absent to me on here. I don't really get much from her to kind of feel her out and to know her personality, because I'm not familiar with her. So she hasn't really done much here on Girls Trip for me.
I think that's kind of why. Yeah, Jill.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why I'm enjoying her a lot, though, is because I feel like she's genuinely there just to have fun. Like it's not, she's not there for the BS. It's just like, let's have fun. You know, and when you're in that space, you don't really, you kind of fade in the background when all the other drama and stuff is going on.
Who do you think is there to just have fun?
Phaedra
and Jill.
Phaedra and Jill.
And Brandi. I think Brandy's
there to
have fun?
Brandy's there to work and get a spot back, try to social
really?
TV. Yep.
Y'all said she had her baby begging Andy for a job back.
Well, and I think Eva's there to have a good time too, and I think Eva just when she sees something she speaks out, but I think she's there to just have a good time too, because Eva don't care if she's back at all either.
There's a question from Chase. He says, "Do y'all think Eva is aware of that? As in aware of the other women walking on eggshells, the black women, and that's why we're getting this Eva? Basically getting this Eva. Is that why you think she's so upfront and so speaking back because she thinks she knows that the white women really ain't gonna try her like that?"
No. If anybody, I'm sure we all watch Top Model, but Eva was literally named Eva the Diva because she was a hot mess on Top Model with how she acted. When we got her on Housewives, I think that she just was in a different space than what we was used to. But Eva, I feel like she will say it to anybody, like regardless of what you look like, who you are, your status. It's just with the white women, it's like Danny said, it's kind of weird viewing it because we're not getting it as authentic. But I think Eva's as authentic as we're gonna get from Eva.
Yeah, she did a show. They had a VH1 show too that she was on. I forgot what it was. It was like a Halloween show with her and Erica Mena and all them. And she was that Eva that was there. I was like, when I heard she was coming to Atlanta for Housewives, I was like, oh yeah, based on how she was there. When she got to Atlanta, it wasn't there. But I like what Chad is saying. She will get with you because on that show with them loving hip hop people, Eva did not mind. So I don't know what happened when she got to Atlanta.
I think you also move different when I'm just going to be around these people for 7 days versus when you're on a Housewives of Atlanta. I'm going to be around these girls for extended periods of time. So you might choose to pick and choose your battles then. And plus, she was pregnant the whole time. You're not going to be pregnant.
And y'all think it has anything to do with her husband being in politics at the time too, while she kind of was more reserved?
Somebody mentioned that. I mean, the people, over the last week, people have been really, pleased with Eva's performance, and they're like, not that they want to give her a second chance, but they just like, because I saw a meme and it was like, when I first heard that Eva was on the cast, and it was like after watching Eva, and he was like,
oh yeah.
Right.
And I was like, that's very accurate because I'm like, okay, I don't mind her. Like, I didn't understand how she fit, but she's actually meshing well. I'm enjoying her. She doing her thing, she's still herself. So I ain't saying bring her back because I know, but she's doing well. Yeah. Because all she's gonna do is get pregnant again. She still talk about procreating again. So I'm like, girl,
she's still young.
Yeah.
That's fine.
She said her husband got a vasectomy, so she said they done with that.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. And Sam, I don't know if you saw the comments, but TKC tried to say you only watch Atlanta and Potomac, and I let him know that you watch New Jersey and Beverly Hills as well. He basically said because you don't watch New York. So, yeah.
Oh, not all.
Right. Oh. So I don't know if you in the comments, but he's trying to talk his mess. So I had to let you know what he said.
I watched more than
as they leave this,
it's more entertaining.
You said what?
I said I watch more than the black women. They're just more entertaining to me.
Thank you. There's nothing wrong with that. So as they leave this tea party, it basically Jill asks Dorinda to talk to Tamra. Dorinda's like, look, I don't do that mushy gushy shit. I'm not doing it. And as she leaves, Jill gives Tamra a hug. Tamra was like, thank you, I needed that. And Phaedra's like, lead in. Oh, give that baby a hug. And I think eventually Dorinda goes over and she hugs her. And I guess they have made up from this, right? But yeah, I mean, do you all feel like Dorinda has not been welcome? She's made the people feel a little unwelcoming.
I don't. I felt like she was very welcoming. But Dorinda is also a quiet taste. I think that she can easily, without trying, rub some people the wrong way because of that New York. Like I've always said about New Yorkers and just people in New York, they get that that mentality, and it's like they rub people the wrong way without even like realizing what they're doing. That's what Dorinda gives me. But I felt like she was welcoming. I don't know what more they wanted her to do.
I think Dorinda is so obsessed with being a perfect host that anything that goes out of the way she's trying to plan it sets her off.
Yeah. I think she's under stress trying to make sure she's so focused on making sure that she does a good job for them to have a good time that when it don't go her way.
Yeah, but at what point do you kind of come back to, okay, this is more than just me planning something. This is supposed to be enjoyable for everybody. So yes, I may have planned all these enjoyable events and things like that, but if I'm making people mad in the process, are they really having fun? You know what I'm saying? I think she's, as a person that likes to host stuff and have big things, and I understand where she comes from, because like when you're hosting something, you almost can't even enjoy it yourself because you're trying to make sure everybody's having a good time, and you thrive, and you're having fun watching everybody else have fun. Like, I understand that place and that she's in, but I think that since this is like a cast of people that she knows, don't know, a little bit here and there, I think she should be a little careful. Because if it was New York, then sure, because this is her cast, but she don't really know Vicki them like that, Tamra like that. Like, these are all people from the Bravo spirit. And so I feel like that's why I think if I was there after hear her say so many times how y'all do things at home and you can leave, I honestly would feel like I need to leave, because now I feel like I'm not in control. I'm already in her house, you know what I'm saying? So you also don't want to be too disrespectful. At some point, I would let her have it. Either let her have it or left.
I would have left. But you know, what you said is true though about her as a host wanting to see other people have fun.
Yeah.
Because if you see her reaction later when everybody dressed up for the prohibition, she said I could cry seeing y'all. Yeah. Like that is.
I understand exactly what kind of person she is, where she comes from. Like, I know exactly how she is as it relates to planning and hosting something. Like, that's a real feeling. But she just, sometimes you got to scale back and be like, look, I need to come. Like, let me just have a little fun and kind of like relax. And because it'll make the thing better. You won't have people crying and stuff like that. Because overall, that affects the whole experience. You got to think about it. Yes, your events are happening, but now Vicki, who's firing out what is valid or not, she feels like Dorinda wasn't a good host. And watching these episodes, she's a great host, but she's going about things the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? In my eyes, but that's just me. Okay. So then after that, we get a scene from Jill and Taylor, and Jill is basically kind of talking about her relationship with Dorinda over all the years. She talks about how she got on the show, and basically once she got on the show, she kind of threw it to the side, and how their relationship has been on or off. She said that basically they weren't always friends. They've become cool, and over time, like, Dorinda's kind of like passed off to the side to the point to where sometimes she'd be like, "Girl, I'll talk to you 6 months later when we're done filming." And I'm like, oh, okay, like, this is interesting. Maybe this kind of explains, because Dorinda, do you feel like Dorinda is like cool with Jill? Or do you feel like it's just like kind of like so Sammy, since you didn't watch New York, what would you think from them two based off of their relationship? Be it from the same cast. Go ahead.
Yeah, based on the very first episode of the second episode, whenever Jill came, I thought that her and Dorinda kind of were close, based on how Dorinda was explaining how she'll come because of her holiday. But when she got there, and Dorinda kind of just gave her the same treatment as the other girls, it was like, okay, that's kind of weird. So hearing Jill say this, it makes complete sense to me, because I thought that they were closer based on how they brought her into the show. But then when she got there, it didn't give that at all. Not to me.
Okay. Chad or Danny?
I thought they were closer just being castmates. I thought that they would, I thought that they just were closer, but I didn't really get that all that Jill's putting out there. I think that she just may be reading into it a little more than what it really is. That's kind of what I picked up. Because I'm like, if Dorinda was doing all this stuff to you and you didn't feel like this, like, why'd you come? Like, I just thought it was a little awkward.
Well, especially you looking at it from Dorinda's point of view, she's kind of she feels like they're like this. Yeah,
it's like that's very weird.
I feel like Jill wanted more attention from Dorinda, basically came from the cast, and not considering that Dorinda's trying to make sure everybody feels welcome, and she can't focus on just Jill. I think Jill wanted more attention, more personal attention from Dorinda.
Okay. Some Chase. Chase, Chase is the New York expert child. Let me see. Dorinda has blocked multiple attempts for Jill to return. Jill left season 4. Dorinda entered season 7. Okay. It sound like there may be some casting resentment from just based off of what Jill was saying, because she did mention that once she got on the show, she kind of stopped talking to her, and that she brought her around to the show, whatever season she said. And so I don't know how valid everything is. I see some truth, but I don't know. I do think maybe she read a little bit too, but Dorinda being the kind of person she is, I mean, the fact if she does feel like she's close to Jill, how valid is that? Dorinda sees things differently. Sure.
Alternate little world.
Right. It's a whole alternate thing for Dorinda. Me being close to child, her being close to child would be completely different. It would be like surface level. So I don't know. Samira said, I thought Bethany didn't want Jill around. And TKC says Jill needs to grow up. Okay, so this will come back up too. So they have the prohibition dinner, and first of all, Vicki almost fell again. She almost hurt herself again. And I was like, if I hear this lady go, ow, 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 again, I'm gonna fall out. But she almost went all the way down, and Theta was like, baby, I can't help you. You got to help me. She's like, you got to fall because I got my own heels to worry about.
Okay.
But they go to this dinner and they do like this bourbon thing where they're tasting this bourbon. And I knew right then that this seems gonna get real drunk and messy, because bourbon, brown liquor in general, if you drink brown, will get you there. But from this liquor, Vicki is starting to loosen up, and she's having a good time. And I'm like, okay, all right, Vicki. They keep showing these flashbacks of the old Vicki from OC, but I mean, we ain't got her yet. But quickly enough, she turns from having a good time to that one drunk friend that wants to get in their feelings and start to cry when they drunk. And she's talking to Eva basically about, her life before and after the trip. And just, I feel like it's a very realistic feeling, not that because she's drinking, but you know how like you're on vacation, vacation takes you away. But then you got some shit going on at home, and you got to get back to it after vacation. I feel like it was a very real feeling. But how did y'all feel about Vicki opening up and talking to Eva, and like what she actually was trying to talk about or say?
Somebody else go first.
I think it was good that she did. It gave some insight as to why she was so cold and unbearable for so much of the trip so far. So for her to actually get drunk and kind of break down and explain, especially to explain it to Eva after Eva was the one who brought up like you kind of killing the mood. I thought it was good that she did. And it made sense. It made complete sense. She still has to go back home, deal with that man in Mexico in her house that don't want to deal with her. So the liquor made her actually put it out there.
I appreciate that, but if I was Eva, I probably wouldn't have wanted to hear that right then and there, because I'm having fun. It would have been another Debbie Downer moment to me.
Agreed.
Talk to Tamra.
I'm with Danny on that one.
Talk to me about that.
Y'all are cold.
No, Vicki, I checked out of OC a long time ago because of Vicki. She just always turns, like she's very when she wants to. Like everything with Vicki is when she wants to. And it's like, you knew you was coming to this show. You've been having this stuff going on for a long time with this man. And it's like, oh, well, people got to constantly get into it with you and bring it up and throw it in your face for you to be like, you know what, let me get drunk and then let me pour this out to you and want people to be receptive. I would have been looking at her like, girl, no, this is not the time. We're trying to have fun right now. And you want to talk about your problems, when really, when we was all trying to get to know each other in the beginning, you could have just been open, even though she kind of was open and told a little bit, but you could have been more open with the whole group and told, your issue, told everybody what was going on with you. So maybe they would have had more, they would have been had more empathetic towards her from the jump.
Yeah, and because Eva was actually enjoying drunk Vicki at first. Eva was living. Eva was you like, enjoy anybody's having a good time, but when I agree with anybody starts to that drunk crying and pouring their feelings, I'd be like, I don't know how to respond to that. I never do. Like in life, I've seen that, and I'd be like, if you know how Phaedra looked at Candy, and she was just like, That's how I don't know what to do.
If we're close friends, I know what to do, and but if I don't already know you and I've already had words with you, I don't know what to do. It's like, girl, move. Tamra, come get her.
Right.
Right, come get her.
But y'all gotta remember, she tried to explain it in the beginning. They kind of gave her the, oh well, you knew it was coming deal, or so maybe that's why she just shut off from it. And then when she got drunk again, it just started rolling off her tongue.
So Mary says, I can sympathize with Vicki breakup, but after Cancergate for her, after Cancergate, I don't care for her. That's valid. I mean,
same.
A lot of people have Vicki is very controversial. If you follow OC, like she's one of them women that you either like or you don't. And I mean, it seems like TKC likes her, but like Chad says, she's the reason why he stopped watching. So I mean, I guess however you follow with her,
she's an acquired taste too.
Definitely an acquired taste.
Rock says, I actually met Tamra in real life. She's a really nice person. Tamra seems cool. Actually, I don't see no issue with her actually at all. From the show. I mean, from sis and in general, like she seemed like she would be fun. I don't know. Okay, so then after the dinner, this is where things kind of heat back up surprisingly, and gets a bit more chaotic. So Dorinda, they're all like back in the house in their PJs and stuff like that, and Dorinda is like she's trying to explain her relationship with Jill. And as she's explaining it, Brandi brings her drunk ass back inside and is just like, you know what, let's have fun. And Vicki's like, Brandi, let her finish. She's talking right now. Let her finish. You go back over in the corner and be quiet. And Brandi's just like, she just kind of ignores her a little bit and kind of gets Tamra to get up and go, which I was surprised that her and Tamra, they end up going in with the dancer. The dancer body looked nice, by the way. But I thought that was a fun little moment.
So,
what?
When the dancer was first coming down the stairs, I thought it was a drag queen at first.
I didn't get that.
I thought it was Luann.
I did too. At first, I did too. I was like, oh.
Is she about to do that little stuff she do? That's what I thought was about to happen.
I actually had enjoyed seeing Brandi and Tamra have fun. I know Tamra gonna walk up to Brandi the next morning and say, "Boy, we had a time last night."
Yeah.
They
had a good time. They had the little speaker, and they was having a good time. Meanwhile, in the other room, Eva decides that she's going to go to bed. I guess she says she has to work in the morning. So is it Dish Nation? What is this?
Yeah, 6 a.m.
Yeah, Dish Nation.
Okay, Dish Nation. I figured, I wasn't sure. But I guess the room she has been set up for her to do this, so she must be doing it every morning. That's cute for her. And in doing that, Jill is just basically saying, can she sit in and watch her work the next morning? And Eva tells her, she had to sign papers and stuff like that, blah, blah, which is understood. I mean, it's a whole show, and it's a whole show. And Dorinda's on the side's like, no, Jill, that's too much. Girl, you thirsty. It's too much. Chill out. And, Jill doesn't take a liking to it, and she decides to go ahead and leave. And so she kind of storms out and goes over to Phaedra, and it's just like, Dorinda's the bitch. I've been nice to her this whole fucking trip or whatever. And I'm like, okay, Jill, come on, girl. Come on out, Jill. Come on out. And she's just like, she's a bitch. I've been putting up with this shit the whole trip. And, Jill walks up to her and says again, it's just awkward. She's like, it's just awkward. And she has her cocktail in her hand. And, Dorinda is definitely starting. She's drunk at this point. They all are drunk. And Jill decides to go to the confessional, and she's crying and talking about her relationship with Eva, talking to Eva about her relationship with Dorinda. And, from this point, Dorinda joins in as well. And she spills the tea to Phaedra about everything that she has felt for Dorinda, like how she hasn't been a good friend to her, and she feels like she's been there for her. And Dorinda basically comes in and is just like, and Phaedra says, well, she just telling us how, you haven't been there for her for the last few years. And Dorinda's like, you would talk to them about this, to them, you know what I'm saying, to these people. And it just gets a whole moment where Dorinda and Jill are just going back and forth. Nobody's really listening to each other. Jill is just sad and crying or whatever. And at this point, Dorinda is just drunk as fuck to where Jill leaves. Like, there she goes. She's leaving because she can't take it. She's leaving. She's gone. And I'm just like, Dorinda. So what are y'all thoughts on this whole moment? It was very chaotic. A lot of like drunk moments, but I found it to be hilarious. Go ahead, Sammy.
That last little minute and a half was hilarious to me. However, I can see, I know I was speaking about last week how I was enjoying Dorinda and her antics, and Jamie was telling me you can only take so much of it. I can see how being around her drunk too many times will make you not want to be around her at all. So when Jill was saying, I'm not saying Dorinda's a bad person, but her behavior is unbearable. I definitely agree with you. It was fun to watch, not being in the situation, but had I been Jill, I don't think I would have been able to handle it.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was really it made for good TV.
Do you think Dorinda went too hard on that whole thing?
Dorinda was just drunk. First off, I don't even know what upset her about her wanting to go sitting there with Eva anyway. I get no, you can't do it. I get it probably was annoying, but for her to just pop off, I don't know if she just was annoyed with Jill already, so that was her reason to go at her. If it was the liquor, but it was no point for Dorinda to get so worked up about that.
That's why I didn't understand, because Eva had already handled it and said no.
Yeah.
Jill wasn't being. I thought Jill was being innocent and playful and trying to show interest in another girl and what she does by saying, let me sit in and watch you. I think she was being thirsty. She was being playful and fun about it. Dorinda just girl.
Yeah. This was the moment I felt Dorinda was doing too damn much.
Yeah.
For sure.
And she never takes ownership for what she does. Never.
At all.
She doesn't take ownership, and she literally moves on. It's like it happens, and 2 seconds later, it didn't happen. And then when she does it again, like she already told her when she was sitting down with Jill that it was too much. She was too much. Then, and she basically followed Jill to the next scene with Phaedra and told her again, it's too much. You're doing too much. And then she followed her to the confessional. It's too much. It's still too much. It's like 3 times you tell this person already ignored her. So I did like Tammy said that comment to where she said that she's not a bad person, but what you say? She's not
the behavior is bad.
She said the behavior is just not. It's intolerable.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think so. Like I think she's a sweet little lady. However, that drinking just pulls out the worst in her. And
literally the worst.
I imagine filming with that, hanging around with that, like, because she be slurring for a minute when she was talking. I don't know if it was when she came up when Phaedra was over there or when they in the confessional.
In the confessional.
When she was with Eva, she was like, "We don't know you." She couldn't even get the words out.
It wasn't even coming out. Like I tried to put it on the damn subtitles
captions
because it was just all slurred and gibberish. I didn't know what
she's not that far off from Brandi when it comes to being a disgusting drunk. She just, I guess, because of who she is, they don't focus on it.
Brandi can actually talk though. She just be drunk.
I just think that Dorinda's actually a little worse than Brandi when drunk. Dorinda never happened and wants to move on is worse than Brandi apologizing every time she does something to me.
Agreed.
So would you rather somebody apologize and then tell you to shut the fuck up 5 minutes later, or would you rather somebody be drunk and like Dorinda and just basically continue to do what she's doing and expect you to move on?
Well, I don't tolerate either one, but if I had to, I'd rather deal with Brandi.
Yeah, I was thinking Dorinda because I was thinking if you don't apologize to me, if you're gonna do it again, but knowing me, you're going to apologize to me, and we're not gonna speak until you apologize to me. It may happen again, but you're gonna apologize for what happened this time.
Well, like Chase mentioned, she did not apologize to Tamra. She gave her that hug, but she did not apologize. I feel like what is Dorinda's sign? Anybody know her sign?
Devil.
I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. As a Scorpio, she gives me Scorpio.
I'm telling you right now. Hold on.
Find out what her sign is, because with her, I just feels like feel like she doesn't like
Sagittarius.
to.
Sagittarius.
Oh yes, that makes so much sense.
Nene.
She doesn't. Right. She doesn't know how, and she doesn't like to empathize, sympathize. Nothing about being mushy. She wants to touch. Like it. Like even if she wrongs you, she would not come over and call you. She would not. That's just what she refused to do. And anytime somebody has a moment, she does not care about that moment at all.
Your girl Candace is a Sag.
Yeah, her Nene.
Nicki Minaj, Tyra Banks.
You're going too far. Don't group Nicki in with Manini now.
It's too late. So freedom. But yeah, so the episode basically ends there, and I didn't see the preview for the next one, but I mean, it was a good episode. Like, it just was very
so enjoyable.
It was a lot. It was a lot. But Brandi had zero conflict in this one, other than being told to stop talking so Dorinda can finish her point.
I also wanted to say, like, even for people who, you know, I've noticed people who don't like Phaedra because of, you know, the whole Candy situation. I've noticed that, you know, they're enjoying her, tolerating her because she's doing what she's best at here. I think Phaedra was always best at side commentary and laughing and stirring up those little petty arguments versus always having full-blown confrontations. Phaedra always did better and was funnier and more enjoyable with the side comments.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I'm enjoying Phaedra.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of her, it's good. One thing about all them housewives is they're really good mothers. I enjoyed her on the phone with Aiden, just hearing him talk. Like, why am I getting my phone taken from him being in her stomach and her not knowing when she was due? Yeah, it's cute to see what they can do.
That's what she was texting at that prohibition dinner.
Baby, she told him, "I'm taking that phone when I get home."
He said, "Why?" It was cute. That was cute watching her talk to him.
Very cute.
Okay. Did anybody have anything else did I miss anything else to mention before we possibly get some callers on today? If we have any callers, we may not know. Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, it's a good episode. Definitely a good episode. I'm enjoying it. It's a really good season, and like I said, in about a few weeks, they're actually going to start the third round of the Ultimate Girls Trip. So. That I know.
Girls trips are always refreshing to me.
I think it would be nice if they kept doing like the same cast, like the same cast for each one. Like they'll do like a season 2 for the same cast.
I like that.
Like to see like how they reunite the next year and see how they reunite the third year, and they can bring up the drama from that season and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know take them to different destinations.
You said what, Sammy?
Go to different destinations. Yeah.
Please leave that Bluestone Manor. Please.
I don't want to hear that phrase ever again. Like, I have 3 more episodes to deal with here in Bluestone Manor. Like, oh.
Yeah, I we don't have to go back there. Sorry. Yeah,
well, we got to get Vicki vaccinated then, because
maybe she's not getting vaccinated. She's anti-vax, just like some other people, and they will.
Well, if she put that man at her house, then she could take the girls down to Mexico. Do it there.
Like a reunion with this cast.
That would be nice.
I can't say who's on season 3, but yes, they are going to Thailand, Samira. I can say that. Yeah, they're going to Thailand. It should be interesting. Okay, well, it looks like we have no callers today, which is fine with me. So we'll go ahead and lean out. Thank you, Danny, Sammy, and Chad. Good episode. And make sure y'all guys check out like our video from Beverly Hills. We had a good time. It was a time last night. We had a good time last night, as we always do. Atlanta's on Mondays, and then also College Hill on Tuesdays, and this on Thursdays. Dubai will return. It's on pause.
It's on pause.
It's on pause. So until then, make sure y'all like this video and let us know in the comments what you thought about this episode, and specifically Dorinda and her hosting abilities. Is it up there is it up there in the ranks with Kenya and that crab sandwich, or is it much better? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see y'all next time. Okay, y'all have a good rest of y'all day, and happy 4th. Oh, Atlanta will not happen on Monday because Monday is a holiday. So if you watch it for Atlanta, we won't be here Monday. No shade. Sorry. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day. Have a good rest of y'all weekend, and happy 4th of July. All right. Peace.
Bye-bye. Night.